So I've been thinking a lot last night since I ended up making that video that I put out talking about my gear and what my goals in the game are, and essentially just how I'm working on my character in Maplestory. I spent a lot of that video talking about the weapon. Those of you guys who watched it know that I spent a lot of time talking about the weapon because weapons are just so important in this game. And I gave a few options on what I can actually do to work on my weapon right now. And after thinking about it a little bit more, I realized that I actually made a pretty big mistake, and this isn't actually going to end up being the weapon that I use later on. I'm going to explain to you guys why, and it has to just do with the way that trading works in Maplestory M. And for some of you guys who are a bit more advanced, you might already be one step ahead of me, but I want to explain the best and most efficient way to actually work on a weapon for somebody like me. And it's going to seem a little bit strange at first, but you guys will understand that the way that the game works, it really does just make this the best way to actually work on a weapon. So the mistake that I made was equipping this weapon to begin with, because once you end up equipping it, unfortunately, every single time that you trade a piece of equipped gear, it's going to consume a scissors, and it's also going to consume one of these scissor cuts. So every time I trade it, even if it's between my main character and an alt character, it's going to use a scissors, and it's going to take away one of these scissor cuts. So because it's a unique, I would have to actually buy these scissors from the cash shop for 100 crystals every single time I wanted to trade that weapon. That's not going to happen. Definitely not worth it. If it was an epic or lower, you can buy these scissors with gold leaves, but still, once you end up equipping a piece of gear, it just becomes a massive pain to actually trade it back and forth, especially considering that alt characters are one of the best ways to level up gear right now. So I'm not actually going to be working on this weapon. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take a step back in order to take 2 steps forward. Now let me go ahead and explain, because that might seem a little bit crazy, but what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go back to an epic weapon. I'm going to go back to an epic wand. I'm not actually going to equip it, but I'm going to work on it. And I have to do a couple of things. First of all, what I'm going to do, and this is something I really should have done before, but I just didn't have the mesos or the resources to do it. I just didn't know enough about the game back when I was actually using an epic wand. But what I should have done is I should have gotten it to Star Force 15 before actually turning it into a unique. Now, the reason why is because once you get past Star Force level 10, when you actually go to the Forge and you go to Enhance, when you get past Star Force 10, there's a chance of destroying your gear when you actually enhance it. Now, you can go ahead and get these scrolls, which I think I have one of them right here. That one is for the decline prevention. It's these ones, these shielding wards, but they do cost crystals, and obviously everything that I like to do in Maplestory M, I like to do it without spending crystals or money, because that's just the way that I play. So one thing that you can do that'll definitely save you a lot of time and a lot of money and hassle and crystals, of course, is getting it to Star Force 15 as an epic piece of gear. Now, if you end up destroying a piece of gear, it is very, very sad, first of all. But what you have to do is you have to use another piece of the same type of gear, of the same ranking. So it would have to be, if I destroyed a unique piece of gear, I would have to use another unique piece of gear in order to repair it. That's what this transfer option is for. I don't think I've actually talked about this too much, but this is to repair broken gear. So if I destroy a unique, I have to use a unique to repair it. If you destroy an epic, you only have to use an epic to repair it. And if you actually take a look at the prices right now, epics are 600,000-700,000. They're still expensive, but if you take a look at the price of uniques, I mean, it's not anything even close. Uniques are 16 to 20 million. Epics are a few 100,000. So pretty big price difference. So if you end up breaking a epic piece of gear, it's not really as big of a deal to actually end up repairing it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to Star Force an epic to 15. Then what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to make sure that this wand or whatever, it doesn't have to be this particular wand. This is just an example, but any wand, Star Force 15, get it to max level, then get another piece of gear to max level. That's when we're going to go back to the Forge. We're going to go and we're going to fuse. Now, the base item is going to be the wand that we Star Force to 15. So that's going to be that. And then the material just has to be another max level weapon. It doesn't have to be Star Force. In fact, don't Star Force it because it'll be a waste of mesas. Only the base item actually has to be Star Forced. So when you actually fuse, you will keep the Star Force rating, but it will go down by 1. So I have a Star Force 15 epic, and when I actually fuse into a unique, I'll keep the Star Force, but it'll go down to Star Force 14. It's still worth it, though, because getting to Star Force 14 on a unique weapon, the chance of risking breaking it, it's not worth it with the price. Unless you're really rich, it's way better to do it when it's a unique piece of gear. So now at this point, I will have a Star Force 14, not 15, but 14, a Star Force 14 unique weapon, and it'll still be level 1. Now, it's really important because at this point, it'll be really tempting to actually equip it, but I'm not going to. This is the big mistake that I made, is I'm not going to actually equip my weapon. What I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to keep it unequipped, I'm going to keep it tradable, and that's when I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go and move it to my alt characters and use the dusts on my alt characters to level it up to max level. I think it takes around 1,000. I think I was off. I think I said 800 to 900 in the last video. I think it's around 1,000, 1,050 dusts to level it up to 20. I have quite a bit, so I'm actually closer than I thought I was, but I'm not going to equip it until it's actually max level. Now, this is a recommendation that I would make if you want to gear up the most optimally that you can. Now, I realize that this isn't really reasonable for a lot of people because once you get a really big upgrade, you really want to use it right away. But unfortunately, once you end up equipping a piece of gear, you get all those restrictions where it takes scissors, you use scissor cuts. It's just a massive pain. So if you can, I would highly recommend that you try to get as many levels, even if it's not max level, get as many levels on your piece of gear before you actually equip it and before it becomes untradeable. For me, that's going to be max level. I'm going to move it to my alt characters, use all the dusts, get it to max level, and at that point, not only will I have a max level J&, or whatever it ends up being, a max level unique, that's Star Force level 14, but it'll also be a lot stronger as well. And when I decide to actually upgrade it from a unique to a legendary, at that point, I won't have to worry about trading it between my alt characters because it'll already be max level. So I can either go ahead and get another unique and fuse it to get a legendary, or I can go ahead and use those gold leafs that I have almost 80,000 of. But really important is I want to make sure to keep it untradeable before I actually end up equipping it on my main character. That's the really big mistake that I made. As a little bonus, I can also get some extra Star Force levels on it, but that's what I'm going to do. Now, this actually isn't going to take as long as I thought it was, so I'm going to go ahead and record me actually getting a level 15 or a Star Force 15 epic weapon. I wonder how many weapons do you guys think it's going to take me to break before I actually end up doing that? Hopefully not too many, but I'll record that, I'll level it up, I'll do this whole thing. This is definitely going to be the way to go. So, I know that this is a whole separate video, but I wanted to go ahead and do a little bit of an update because hopefully this is something that you guys can use as well. Take this information to kind of understand a little bit more about weapons and the way that the game works. And maybe this is something that you'll kind of realize might help you and your character a little bit. So the one thing to take away from is, if you can, try to get as many levels on a piece of gear, especially your weapon. This is really mostly for your weapon. Try to get as many levels on your weapon as you can before you end up equipping it, because not only is it going to give you extra power, but you're definitely not going to regret it for when you decide to use that weapon and either fuse it or rank it up in the future. Because if you don't have it leveled, it's going to be a massive pain in order to get the materials or the dusts to do it. So, wanted to do a little update, tell you guys what the plan is with the weapon, and I think that's going to be that. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. You were able to get a little bit of knowledge. I know this is a little bit more advanced, by the way. You guys have been asking for more advanced videos. This is definitely more advanced, so not new player-friendly information here. But if you guys enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like, of course, and if you are new to the channel, consider subscribing for more videos in the future. And, of course, that giveaway is ending in a couple of days now. It ends at the end of August, and we are almost at the end of August. So if you guys are new and you haven't gotten in on that giveaway, I will leave a link in the description. It's very simple. All you have to do is be a subscriber of the channel and make sure to leave a like or a comment on the actual giveaway video, which was the 2,000 subscriber special. Crazy enough, that was the 2,000 subscriber special because we're actually almost at 4,000 already. So big thank you everyone for subscribing, being a part of the community, and I am working on that 4K sub special. So if you guys have any questions, comments, or any feedback about this video, feel free to let me know. And until next time, guys, this is Salt of the Salty Guild, signing out.